All right, let's try this again. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me write that down. Can you hear me talking? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is anyone there? Let me know if you can hear me. Michael! Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm going to start putting my paints down so I know now that you can actually hear me. I was going to make Michael get on Facebook and see if he could hear me. Come on in, come on in. I am so sorry for all of the tech issues I seem to have. I'm going to have to hire somebody to come help me figure out what's going on because half the time when I try to go live, nothing works right. And I don't know, I'm doing the same thing every time. So there's got to be a glitch in my setup somewhere. So come on in, everybody. Let's talk again about what we're going to be doing today. I'm not going to make this same exact one, but I want to show you a couple of boards that I've made lately that I think are great outdoor pieces that you don't have to worry about rotting because they're on a piece of wood or you know, something that you can do for the outdoors that does not require, you know, a cover over the patio or something like that. So what this is black slate. Okay, this is black slate. Yay! Thank you, Linda. Hi, Tracy and Shay and Miss Ruth. And now we are frozen and I do not know why. All right, so here we go again. This is black slate. This is actually, I got these off of Amazon. These are actually supposed to be like cheese boards or something like that. They have like the little, I can give y'all the link. I actually had the link set up on the original video stream, but since I had to restart, the link's not there anymore. So I'll go find the link for y'all. These, they're probably about $4 a piece. These are 8 by 12. That's the size that I'm using. And I literally took the drill, just a regular drill bit, and I drilled holes in the slate. Now you have to be really careful. You have to do it like really slow and let it take its time to, you know, make the holes, which you can see in this one. I made the holes already, and then I'm going to put jute. The jute that I'm using is just a big roll. Let me show you what I have. It's just a big roll of jute that I buy. It's like the 4-ply, I think. And you know what size it is because of how many strands it has when you unroll it. So this is 3. This has 3 strands to it. So this is a 3-ply. And I use this, I stick it through there on the back side. I might show y'all how to do that. And then I just tie a knot. And it makes a great hanger. You can hang it by your door. You can hang it on your front porch, wherever you want. I would seal it with at least 3 or 4 layers of maybe like a polyurethane spray or something like that that's not going to yellow if you wanted to do something like that. I'm not sure why my camera keeps, there's obviously a glitch in my camera or something because it keeps on freezing up on me. I'm gonna have to buy me a new camera. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something similar to this today, but we're not gonna do the same thing because you can see like the first one I did is like a big fat short pot. And then the second one I did was 2 smaller pots together. And so I want to do something else today. I want to do something else just a little bit different. So what I did this time is I took my slate, I took it outside, and I drilled my holes. It doesn't matter whether you drill from the front or from the back, it still comes out the same on both sides. Okay, I drilled my holes in advance this time. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to work with a large flat brush, and I'm going to put a layer of white paint on here. All right, just any kind of white paint. I'm using titanium acrylic white paint. Of course, you know all of my paints that I use are acrylic. And I'm just going to put it kind of thin so that you can still see the texture and the black underneath. Okay, how are y'all doing today? Happy 4th of July. Well, Eve, I guess, is what you can call it, right? Happy 4th of July Eve. Michael has to work for the 4th of July. He's a crisis responder. So we're going to be staying home because it is over 100 degrees here. And our air conditioners, are y'all air conditioners running like ours are? They are running nonstop. They're running nonstop. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. Like even at 8 o'clock at night to go outside and water the garden and stuff, it's like you're drenched with sweat when you come back inside. We're in Louisiana, so we're getting, you know, the hottest of the hottest. July and August, or if ever you want to come, let's see if I can get that to come back on. If ever you want to come visit Louisiana, do not come in July or August. Whatever you do, do not come in those 2 months. You won't be able to go outside. It's so hot. Don't y'all agree? All right. So I'm just trying to keep the layer kind of thin. I don't want to and I don't want my paint to go into the holes. So, all right, so that's going to be my layer of white. And I'm just going to leave it kind of messy like that. And then I'm going to grab some burnt sienna. Let me grab my burnt sienna. And I'm going to use the burnt sienna to make my pot. Now, we're in the middle of reconstructing my art studio. Like all of my closets, I'm getting shelves in my closets, which before we moved in this house about a year and a half ago. And I know this is still a little wet. I don't have my hair dryer plugged up. So I'm just going to let this dry quickly. Anyway, I have 2 closets. It's an old, you know, it's a bedroom that I converted into an art studio. I have 2 closets, but one of the closets is just like, it just has like a hanging area at the top of it. And so the rest of the closet is just empty. And so it's just like a whole lot of empty space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a pot, okay, with my paintbrush. So I'm going to make this with the angles here and then a curve at the bottom, like a smiley face at the bottom. And then whatever angle I have down here, I'm going to make the same angle up here. And then I'm going to make 2 of those so that I have a big lip on my pot. So anyway, Michael is adding some shelving for me in that closet so that I have a place to put all of my canvases and stuff instead of just laying them down in a big mess on the ground in the closet. You know, when you just throw your shoes at the bottom of the closet and then you can't find anything. Well, that's what my closet looks like in my art studio. So he's adding shelves for me, and I'm so excited. That's what he's been doing for the last couple of days. Because, you know, it's too hot to go outside to do anything. So he's helping me do that. Yes, I love when I draw out the paintings too. It's so much fun. So I'm not going to draw anything else out here right now. I'm just going to start. This is burnt sienna, y'all. So it's basically like the color of a terracotta pot. So I'm just going to use it. These are great gifts, by the way. You know, like the slate piece cost, like I said, $4 to $5, depending on the bulk that you buy at a time. Like the link that I had originally put in here for y'all that I'm gonna go find and put back in here, was, I think it was 6 of these slate pieces for like $21 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was $25. So yeah, you can get them at a decent price. So it's such a great gift if you can paint on it and seal it up. Get you some polyurethane and seal it up. Okay, let me put some black on my palette as well because I'm going to make some shadows on my pot as I'm going. So I'm going to use a little bit of black. That's a lot of black. Let me pull some of that back. Okay, and so this area right here, I'm going to make this side be like the shadow side. So I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Just kind of pull in a little bit of that black there. Just kind of making like a little comma over and over. And I'm using an angle brush right now. And then right here, right underneath that little lip of the pot, I'm going to add more of that dark color. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. Let me clean that off. I'm going to add a little bit more white into the burnt sienna just to make it a little bit brighter on this side. Okay, can y'all see that okay? See how pretty that is? Maybe even go a little bit thicker. And a little bit darker. To give it a little character there. Maybe go a little bit thicker here too. So if you let the white dry completely, you're probably going to get a better coverage of your burnt sienna because my white was still kind of wet. So you can kind of see the white kind of came through a little bit, but that's okay. That's certainly okay. I'm going to actually take a little bit of white and make this a little bit brighter on this side while it's wet, and it gives it a little bit more dimension there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like that. All right, and then while I'm down here, let's go ahead and make that shadow. So since I know the light's coming in on the left, I'm going to ground the bottom of my pot with a little bit more of this black here. It's kind of like black and burnt sienna combination. And then I'm going to kind of dry brush right on this side with that black and burnt sienna. And give it a little bit of dimension there. A little bit more. And just kind of let that go off the piece of slate. Okay, so that's step 1. I love it already. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sap green I'm going to take my sap green. Do y'all want to do geraniums? These are geraniums. Do y'all want to do the same thing like the red and the flags? I mean, we can. I think they're really pretty, especially with the flags. Yeah, it keeps doing that, y'all. Oh, thank you, Cindy. You are so awesome. For some reason, my iPhone keeps like connecting and disconnecting, even though I have it plugged in with a cord. So there's got to be some kind of setting on my iPhone camera that keeps like freezing and then unfreezing, and I do not know what it is. So I'm gonna have to do some troubleshooting after this live today. All right, so I'm going to use some green. You want to do, okay, good. So we're going to do the geraniums. We're going to do just like this. And I'm going to start with the green. So what I want on my paint palette is I want green and yellow and burnt sienna to start with the green leaves. Okay, so let me grab my yellow. Let me grab my yellow. Okay, so let's try this. I'm just grabbing a cadmium yellow. Okay. And I'm going to start with a dark green first. So this is a really, really dark sap green. And I'm going to load my paintbrush up. And what I'm going to do is, if you want, we can kind of draw it out first. So I'm going to make some, let's kind of space out our leaves. So I'm going to make one here. I'm going to make one about here. Now, geranium leaves are kind of like bubbly. They almost look like popcorn leaves. See? So that's kind of what we're going to do with this. We're going to make some kind of way up here as well. Just kind of space them out evenly so they're not all in like a line or anything. Maybe get one over here. Maybe a little bit right there. Okay, let's see how that'll work. So I'm going to come back and load my paintbrush up and just start kind of making some little loops with my paintbrush. Just kind of go around in a circle like that. Now this surface is rough, so you're not going to get a really clean paint look. You're going to get a little bit of that rusticness, which is what we all love, right? We love that rusticness. So you'll get a little bit of roughness and texture if you do work on these little slate boards like this. You can also get them in different sizes. These are 8 by 12, but you can get them in 12 by 12s. You can get them in, I think I saw some 11 by 11s, different things like that. And so I'm just going to kind of make some little popcorn or almost like cotton looking bubbles there. Just get all of that in. Okay, then I'm going to add some yellow to it. And that's going to make it, I'm thinking I need a little bit of a lighter yellow, so I'm going to add a little bit of white as well. Yeah, there we go. So I want kind of like that lime green color. And this yellow that I chose is a little bit on the orange side, so it's giving it a little bit more of an orange tone, a warmer tone, but that's okay. I don't mind. And so I'm going to come in here and just kind of make a second coat just on the inside there. A little bit of yellow and white. Just keep it really loose. You don't have to be perfect. You know how I like to just kind of dabble in the colors. And the faster you work, like somebody was saying that in our membership, we have a 15-minute challenge going on this month. And somebody said it perfectly. They're like, I find that the faster I have to paint, the more loose I am. And that is so true. It makes you be really loose when you start painting fast. So here is what I have so far on my leaves. I know they don't look much like leaves right now, but I promise you, they will. Okay? So we are just going to keep on going. And what I'm going to do now is I cleaned my paintbrush off. And I'm going now back into the burnt sienna, but I'm going to go back into the green as well. So I'm taking my burnt sienna and my green and yellow, and I'm just making another color there. I'm trying to make that, if you notice on this one, you can tell a little bit better. If you notice on the leaves of the geraniums, they kind of have a little bit of a rust color in the leaves. So kind of like a third layer is going to be added, and we're just going to make that rust color show in there as well. A little bit more of that burnt sienna. I love burnt sienna. It's a beautiful, beautiful reddish brown color that really adds a lot to a lot of my paintings because I use that color so much. It's one of my go-to colors when I need some of that rustic flair. Okay, so I know I have a little glare on this, and I'm wondering if maybe I turn this off, if that would be better. Oh, that does clear up the glare, doesn't it? All right, so now let's take some reds, and the reds that I'm going to use are going to be a variety of reds so that we have that dimension. So I've just pulled a variety of reds. Now you can use just one red, but I would use yellow with it as well. So we're going to start with, just like we did the leaves, it's very similar. It's just a different set of 3 colors. So we're going to use a darker red first, then a medium red. That's kind of like an orange red. And then we're going to come back with mixing a little bit of white in it to make it kind of pink on top of it. Okay? So let's see if we can do that. Come on. All right, so we're going to take a dark red. This is called quinacridone red. I'm going to start with that one. And I'm going to strategically place my flowers just kind of in between my leaves, but I'm going to make it overlap as well. And I'm going to make my flowers a little bit more of a variety of shapes because I don't want everything to just be like circular. I feel like I'm in that everything is looking circular right now. So I'm going to try to make my all of my flowers be like different sizes and different shapes so that it doesn't just look like a bunch of circles all over the place. But I am basically doing the same thing. This color is beautiful. It's called quinacridone. What is it called? Quinacridone red orange. Isn't it gorgeous? I think I must have picked this up at Michael's the other day. Let's do a little one right here. moving fast, getting all those flowers in there. Let's do one way up here. Lots of paint, y'all. Lots of paint. Lots and lots of paint. Cover that in. Let's get another one right in here. And another one right there. Maybe that'll be good. We'll try that, see how that works. Okay, now we're going to take some yellow and mix in the red. Or you could just take like another cadmium red that's a little bit more on the orange side. Or you can take some orange and make, all we're doing is we're making like a lighter red. Just so we can come back and you see how you can see it's another shade. It's another value that's a little bit lighter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in some of these little circles there on top. I have a lot of paint on my paintbrush. Do y'all see how much paint I have? The more paint you have on your paintbrush, the more enjoyable the experience is, because you can actually move the paint around. And you're not struggling to get the paint off of your paintbrush. And it's not like dried out. So we're just going to go on the inside and add that. Okay, so I'm going to take a step back because I've got to let some of this dry before I try to add anything else. I've got to let some of this dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my black and green, and I'm just going to kind of fill in a little bit more in here so that it looks a little fuller than it is right now. So I'm just taking, kind of like making it look like it's got some shadows back there. I'm just taking some of this black, and not solid black, I mean almost solid black. I'm just doing like black and green. And I'm just making it a little bit darker in some areas. And then let's bring in a little bit more green in here. Just be a little sporadic. Don't be afraid. It's all gonna work out, I promise. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just adding a little bit more, just to kind of fill in all of those gaps. And some of the colors are getting mixed together. That's totally fine because they actually look good when they're kind of mixed together. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off. And I need to decide, I know I want to go a little bit lighter on the green. So I'm going to look at that again, and I'm going to grab some more of this green and yellow. And I want to go just a little bit lighter on my greens up here. Make them pop just a little bit more. I kind of covered up that lighter green, and I want to bring it back out. There we go. Get that lighter green in there. And if you feel like you covered up too much of the darker green, then you can always go back and add some of that and just keep on adding your layers. So let me think about my flags, because I kind of hid my flags, didn't I? Or where I'm going to put my flags. So let's see, I'm going to take some burnt sienna and some white, and I'm going to make like a brownish color for the stem, because basically it's just like a stem there. Let's try to go, I'm going to draw the flag out first. I'm going to make the flag go here. So I can kind of position the stick. Let's go a little bit further out. All right, that's going to be where my flag's going to go. So I'm going to bring the stem right through here. Basically the stick that's sticking in the pot. And I'm going to stop there. Now, if you wanted, you could put a second one. I'm just going to put one. Okay, let me get some blue. So I'm using ultramarine blue, and then I'm going to take some black, and I'm going to make like a navy. Ultramarine blue and black. And I'm going to make about halfway of the flag is going to be, let's go a little more blue. Let's go a little bit higher. Okay, so if you know anything about flags, whichever flag you're making, whether it's, well, for United States flags, this is what we're going to do. We are going to, we're going to start with the red, and we're going to make our stripes. And the United States flag, the top stripe is red and the bottom stripe is red. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to make a red. And then I'm going to skip a little space, and then I'm going to go red again. Now, I may not have enough room to make all of the stripes, all 14 stripes, but I'm going to try. And then the bottom stripe is red. And then I'm going to skip. And then I'm going to go with another red. And then I'm going to be able to fit one more in there. All right, clean that off. And then I'm going to come back with white. And so the white is going to go in between. You know what? I'm going to let that dry a little bit more before I do that, since the red is so wet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my flowers, and I'm going to make a pink. Now, the reds that I'm using right now are really, they're not going to make a pink for me. If you notice, look what they're doing. Can y'all see that? It's not really a pink. It's kind of like a peach, which is fine. I mean, you can use a peach. And the reason why is because all of the reds that I pulled, they're all warm reds. They have some yellow in them. So they're basically all on the orange side. So if you want a red that's going to give you more of a pink, then you might want to pull something in like the in the magenta or the quinacridone. Like this one right here is quinacridone red, and it's more of a cool red. It's gonna have some cooler tones in it, and watch the difference. You'll be able to see, like this is gonna bring in a hot pink. Y'all see the difference there? That's like a magenta. So your reds, there's a lot of different shades of reds to choose from. I want an in-between color. I don't want it to be like totally opposite from the warm colors that I have here, but I don't want it to still be orange. I want it to be more pink. So I'm going to add a little bit of this quinacridone, this pink red, with the orange red, and I'm going to get kind of like a medium in-between red, like a true red, I guess you could call it, and I'm going to add some white to it. And that looks a lot better to me than what I had before. So I'm going to add this red on top. Very little, because it can be strong, and you don't want to, you don't want the color to be like completely opposite from the colors that you already have. So let me see if I can, there we go, that's a little better. Just bringing in that subtle pink color. It's really pretty. And maybe just a little bit more pink. Let's see, maybe we'll do one more shade. We'll go a little bit lighter, little bit, and I'll just kind of, let's go a little bit more white. A little bit more pink. It's kind of hard to keep it because all of the reds are still wet, so you have to be careful. And I think I like it. I think I like it. So now I'm going to go back to my flag and grab that white and just work that white in between. And then we're going to have to make this white. Got to work with the wet red underneath. So there we go. All right, so my stars, I'm not gonna make complete stars. I don't have enough room to make 50 stars. So I'm just gonna have some fun and just kind of touch with my paintbrush and with my finger. Just kind of spread that around. All right, I like it. Let's make our stem, or not our, I keep on calling it a stem, but you basically know it's just the stick. Let's go back and make our stick a little more prominent here. All right, I like that. And maybe just a few little, you don't have to do this, but it's just an additional step. Maybe if you want some black, like to put little stems on your flowers. I don't even know if these will show. Maybe put a stem coming down here, a stem on your flowers there. Okay, I like it. Now, oh, I put paint all right here because my arm is full of paint. Let me fix that. That's not going to fix it, is it? That just had paint all over it. I can maybe take it off. I have a baby wipe. Let's try a baby wipe. Let's see if that'll work. I made a mess right here, so I'm cleaning it up. So you can see it's pulling the paint off as well, but that's okay. At least it's taking the pink off that I got all over the edge. And then I can come back and just kind of fix that. Just give it a little more white there. If you want your background to be a little darker. I have pink paint all over my arm. And then the last thing we could do, if you wanted to, is you can put welcome down here. You can go all the way across, or you can just go on the pot, whatever you want. You can write with a Posca pen. And you can even get my Posca pen to work. You can even, if you wanted to, you can even like come in here and make your flowers have a little more texture by adding the black around. Not texture, but like highlight them a little bit more. Kind of make them stand out a little bit if you wanted to do that. And then down here, I'm just going to print this time instead of trying to make the big, because I think I'm going to run out of room. Okay. Just trying to make sure I have enough space. Perfect. There we go. And then the last thing that I did was I took a little bit of white paint just to accentuate the letters a little bit more. I took just a little bit of white paint. You can use a Posca pen if you want, just to give it a little more presence. You can see them better. Just put a little bit of white there on each one of the letters. I'm just using a paintbrush, but you can definitely use a Posca pen. All right. I think I like it. So there you go, my friends. This is another welcome slate sign. Again, I would definitely spray this with a polyurethane. But what's great about it is, y'all, it's not going to rot. It's not wood. You know, you can put it outdoors. And I'm going to take the other one that I have. I'm going to move all of this out of the way. And I'm going to take the other one. I'm going to show you what I did for the hanger. So here's another one that I did a while back, about a week ago. And I'm going to use my jute here. Let me find my scissors. We have a mess in here right now. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that the end of my jute is nice and twisted, really tight. Then I'm gonna turn this over. And I'm going, when I put it in the hole, because the hole is about the same size as the string. When I put it in the hole, I'm gonna make sure I twist it the same direction that I was twisting to keep the jute together. And so it fits perfectly. And I'm gonna grab a good bit of it, make a knot, just cut a little bit off at the end so the little end of the knot's not too long. Pull that through, that's one side, and then kind of give yourself just an estimation of how long you want your jute to be. Did we freeze? Are we frozen? All right, so we've got one side done, and then I'm just going to say, all right, I want my jute to be about this long. So the hole's here. Let's cut. It doesn't matter how much you cut, just so you cut longer than what you want. I'm going to cut that off. Twist it tight, tight, tight on the end. Put it in here. Twist it into the hole. That's the best way that I can get it through. Twist it into the hole. There we go. And then, let's see, I'm going to go about. I'm going to pull extra out just so I have some to work with. Tie a little knot on the end. There we go. There we go. We've got our sign with our cute little jute, and we are ready to hang this outside. Isn't this adorable? So I have 3 now that I made. This one with 2 pots, and these are horizontal. This one with 1 big pot, and then this is a vertical one. Once it dries, I'm going to add my jute up here with 1 big pot. All right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you all next time. Y'all have a great, happy 4th.